Hello everyone, my name is Amber. Welcome to my channel, Amber Reads Romance. Today I am super excited to be bringing you an announcement for a readathon that is going to be happening in May. I am so excited to be a co-host in this one because this is one of my favorite readathons. Jenn from the Book Refuge has been doing the Mafia Romance Readathon for quite a few years, I think since 2020, but I could be completely wrong with that. But this readathon is one of my favorites. It's what got me to fall in love with Mafia Romance. And so I'm just so appreciative to Jenn to actually ask me to be a part of it this year. I love this readathon so much. So I am so excited to be co-hosting with this. So in this video, I'm going to kind of go over the main announcement, how the bingo board plus an extra points board situation is going to work. There's a certain point system that's going to be really fun and interesting. And maybe some Rex will be involved. We'll see. But let's go ahead and dive into this announcement for the Mafia Romance Readathon. Okay guys, so before I dive into everything, I do want to mention that Jenn from the Book Refuge is the one that is putting on this readathon, and she already did her announcement video. I think it might have been 2 weeks ago or maybe over a week. I can't remember, but she already gave all that information and probably in a better way than I will. So I am going to link Jenn's video down below. So if you want to go head over to Jenn's channel, you may have already seen her announcement video if you're a fan of hers like I am. So head over there, get more information. I'm going to do the best that I can giving you all the information here. But again, you should go to Jenn, go to the source, go to the one that has created this amazing readathon and get all that information. So she actually has invited a couple new people, including myself, to this, which was so nice because, you know, I'm a smaller channel. And, you know, sometimes I think like I wouldn't be included in these type of things. And so I'm just really appreciative for Jenn to include me in this. She knows how much I love Mafia and how big of a fan I am of her Mafia readathon because honestly, like I always just thought Mafia was like a two-dimensional basic arranged marriage, blah, blah, blah type of romance. And by participating and, you know, joining these readathons for the Mafia Romance Readathons, I discovered I just love Mafia Romance. I primarily read Dark and Mafia. And with this, I realized that I don't put enough Mafia Romance recommendations, like trope-wise, on my channel. So I need to be better about that. So when I go through a lot of this, the points, the tropes, all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to give recommendations for everything. I'm going to try and give you a couple options on some of these as we're going through the points in the bingo board. But I'm probably going to be doing a couple like trope recommendation videos in the next couple weeks here because I have more like a bunch of recs for just that trope. And I want to just do an exclusive video just for that because I don't want to put it all in this video and have it be super long. So I will give you some options for ones that I don't have a ton of recommendations for, but mostly here I'm going to be going over all the rules and the bingo board and tropes and everything that we're doing here. All right. So first for the co-host. So obviously Jenn is putting this on, and then I am one of the co-hosts. And then also Helen from What Helen Reads has been asked to be one of the co-hosts, along with Kyan from Kyan is Booked. And then Jess from Honest Fiction. And I love all their channels. So make sure you're subscribing to all their channels and following them for this readathon. Okay, so for the readathon, there's no live show set or anything yet, but we will be doing sprints. We will be getting you, we'll be planning on all doing some type of sprints, which will also be really cool because Helen is in the UK. So that'll give a lot more options for live sprints or, you know, live shows to people, you know, in other countries. And so I think that's going to be an amazing addition to this. So looking forward to that. Hopefully I'll be able to make one of her live sprints. It just depends on my schedule matching up with the different time zones. So those things will be announced later once we get kicked off here for the readathon. And again, it is going to be from the 1st through the 10th. So you have 10 days to basically read as many Mafia romances as you can. Now, I am also a part of another readathon, so I'm going to be mixing stuff in here with that readathon. I know readathons go on at the same time all the time, so that may be conflicting, but don't stop yourself from joining the Mafia if you're part of one of those readathons. This could count for certain things. The other readathon that I'm in, it's like point-based, every book that you read. My team specifically, it's a historical romance type of readathon, heavily focused. But my team, the Governess, we are doing dark and gothic romance. So that's going to really help me here because I need to still be adding the books that I'm reading from the Mafia to that readathon. So they can both go either way here. So it'll help. Okay, so for this readathon, there is going to be a static bingo board, which I'm going to put up right here. I'm not going to go through all the tropes right away because I want to go over both the boards first to kind of explain how this works. But basically, it is a static bingo board, and it's going to make it a little bit more difficult, but she has an extra board that you can get extra points hitting specific tropes as additional options to build up your points. So I'm kind of explain this the best I can because I may be bad at this, but basically you're still going to be using this bingo board trying to get a bingo. Each bingo square is going to be worth 1 point, but you only really get to use that 1 point once. So basically it's a 4x4, so it's 16. So there's an optional 16 points there. So basically if say you got a bingo going up across this way, you would have 5 points for the bingo, and then you would have 4 points for each of those squares. So then if you got a bingo going down like this way and you had already had it up this way, you would have you'd get the additional 5 points for that bingo. And then, but you're only going to have the 3 points for each square because you had already counted that top square in your previous bingo. If that makes sense, I'm probably horrible at explaining this. It'll probably make more sense as you're kind of going through your bingo. But basically, you're getting the 5 points per bingo. There is each bingo is 5 points, and then the max amount of bingos is 4. And then if you black out the board, it is going to be 10 points to black it out. So that's kind of confusing when I'm trying to explain it. But basically, you're just not counting that. If you already took that square and you got a point for it, you don't get to keep counting it for the other bingos, if that makes sense. So each bingo, 5 points. So I'm going to go through all those prompts in a second, but I kind of want to go over what's going on here because she is also going to have another board that is basically extra points for specific prompts. So on this board, I'm going to section it out here as I go through it, but you'll get extra points, like 2 extra points if you hit these prompts. And that is cartel romance, woman on the run, fairy tale retelling, BDSM, assassin, rival families, second chance romance, ruthless or vicious in the title, and then published before 2020. So as you can see on this board, you're going to be able to hit one of those. Each of those would be 2 additional points. Now on this, you only get to use it once. So if you had a book that say had BDSM in it and then you used it, you don't get to keep using that for multiple books. You basically get to use that prompt once and count it for the 2 points. Now you can count multiple of these on one book. It doesn't mean like you only get one. It's you use that one once, if that makes sense. Then the 3 point section, we have Yakuza, female boss or capo, undercover agent or spy, less than 1,000 ratings on Goodreads, LGBTQAI, reverse age gap, interracial couple, and then disability or neurodivergent rep. So those are going to be the 3-point section. Now, at the bottom here, this is why I wanted to cover this first, is that you're going to get 5 points for reading any of our specific picks. So all the co-hosts basically gave Jenn one of our favorite Mafia romances, one that we really want everybody to be able to read and think everybody will enjoy. And if you read one of those books, you're going to get 5 points. So you can get a lot of points if you read all the host recs. So I've actually read all of our recs, so I might do a reread just because I really want to reread one that's an absolute favorite for me and completely wrecked me. I might even reread my choice. But before I go into all those, I'm going to kind of go over each of those books with you so you can get more information. And then I'm also going to kind of show you as much on top of my head as I can, what extra prompts you would get just from reading one of those host recs. So this is going to be actually the point level system here. You're going to be, it's going to go from enforcer to capo to underboss to consigliere or Don or Donna. Now, she is not telling anybody, even as co-hosts, the points because she wanted to make it more difficult this year because everybody at least I was able to get Donna really easily last year, but I read a lot of Mafia. I was being very competitive. It tends to be a problem with me. I do get a little too competitive, so I'm hoping I'll be okay in this because I'll want to get competitive with this, and I'm also doing another readathon at the same time. So we'll see how crazy I get. But she's going to hide those total amounts so that you're still try to get as much points as you can to see if you can hit to Donna. So those are kind of like the levels that we're at here. So for to go over first, I want to bring up all our recs, okay? So I'm going to bring up mine first, and mine is Twisted Emotions by Cora Riley. I'm sorry if my ring light is hitting this. It's a super shiny cover. This is one of my favorite Mafia romances. If you're not new to my channel, you know I've talked about this many times. Nino Falcone is like on one of my book boyfriends lists. This book is just fantastic. Now, I did read all the other ones before this of Cora Riley's, but you definitely don't have to. You can jump into this one. And this is my favorite in the series. Along with, there is a second part to this, basically. After Twisted Pride, we have Twisted Bonds, and that's an additional book of Nino and Chiara's romance. So in this, we have Chiara Vitiello, and she is tied to the New York Mafia, and that's Luca's Mafia, and it's like her original series. But she has had a horrible childhood. Her father was considered a traitor, so she had to like live with one of her uncles and aunts, and she ended up getting sexually assaulted by not the uncle she lived with, a different uncle, at a very young age. So she has a lot of trauma and PTSD and sexual trauma for everything that she went through. So there is darker stuff in this, but this is Mafia. Just expect darker stuff. And she actually is set to an arranged marriage between her and Nino Falcone. And he is part of the Camorra in Vegas. And they are pretty crazy. She's very nervous to get married to somebody in the Camorra. Especially the Falcones, they're very wild and very different than the traditional Italian mafia that she's used to dealing with. And she's scared because she's not a virgin and she has to show blood on the sheets for her wedding. And when her and Nino go to have sex, he could tell something was wrong with her. He could sense her trauma. And so he has her tell him the truth. And he basically kills her uncle and has the blood on the sheets to show bloody sheets. And that's the start of their marriage. But what is so amazing about this book is the amount of care and sensitivity and how slow he goes with Chiara for their sexual experiences. And Nino feels like he does not have any emotions. He feels like very shut off. He shut off his emotions from the trauma in his childhood, and he doesn't feel like he could love or show any emotions. And I mean, it's twisted emotions here. His emotions are going to come into play. Now, in this book, there is a lot that you could hit from the bingo board and the additional prompts here. So last year I actually read this and I used it for the disability or neurodivergent rep because he is kind of considered on the spectrum or neurodivergent. There is a little bit of that with him. So this one also, it has, let me see here. I think this was, I don't think it was released before 2020. I think it came out after that. Oh, it says copyright 2019. So this could be, I would say any of a lot of Core Riley's series you could probably do because it would have come out before 2020. So this one also has, let me go back, for like the bingo board. Sorry, I'm pulling it up here. So this could hit for if you get an audiobook, you could get the audiobook for this. I got this on AnyPlay. It was fantastic. I think I bought Twisted Pride last year on Audible. But this is, considered Italian Mafia. And then also there is, I believe, red on the cover. Yeah, so red on the cover is another option. Obviously, on this one, we have red on the cover. This is an arranged marriage. So you can see reading this one book would hit multiple prompts. Now, I do think Jenn said that you can't count this. Like if you read my pick, you can't count my pick as, I think it was, hold on, let me see here. Any rec from a host, I think that one has to be separate from like this rec. So if you read this one, you would pick another one of my many recommendations that I've recommended on my channel, or any of the other hosts that you follow, one of their random recommendations. For example, I recommended Cosa Nostra, our thing Cosa Nostra. I've recommended His Pretty Little Burden, those ones from Nikki Harris, many times. If you picked one of those, then you would be able to hit the any rec from a host, but you can't use the one that we picked for our main pick, if that makes sense for you. So that one was my pick. I love this one so much. I will always recommend it. I've read it multiple times and it still holds up for me. It is my favorite Core Riley and I just absolutely adore it. Okay, so then we have Helen's pick, and that is going to be Ruthless Creatures by J.T. Geisinger. This is the first book. I think it's like the Gods and Monsters, or I forget what it's called, sorry. But I really loved this series. I think this is an amazing book. It kicks off an amazing series. If you haven't tried J.T. Geisinger's series yet, I think that this will really hit for you. This one is this is what basically explains 5 years ago, my fiance disappeared. So like the heroine in this, her fiance disappeared. And she thinks he's like maybe died or whatever. And then I think it's Cage. Yeah, Cage moves in next door to her. And he's really kind of maybe there to kill her or figure out what's going on with like the ex and everything. And then they end up kind of falling for each other. So this one could actually hit with the assassin one. He is the head. He is also a boss. So that'll help with that prompt too. He is a boss. He is, I believe, in the Bratva. So it'll hit for that prompt on the bingo board. He is kind of undercover, but I don't know if it fully counts as undercover agent or spy. He's really just after her. But this one is really great. I highly recommend it. So this one is going to be Helen's pick. And then we have Kiana's pick, and this actually I just finally read this year. I actually have the bind up of both of them, so I'm going to show that one. But hers is When Heroes Fall by Gianna Darling. This is the first part of a duet, so this is the bind up of both of them, of When Heroes Fall and When Villains Rise. And this blew me away. This was fantastic. We have Dante, and he is the head of the mafia, and he is actually up for murder, and they're coming after him. And then I think it's Elena, right? Yeah, Elena is actually going to be his attorney, and she has to like live with him for a period of time. And we got a prickly heroine. She has a really complicated past. And so Dante is the sunshine in this, and he really just breaks down her walls and makes her fall head over heels for him. And I just love this. I ended up giving the second one a 6-star because I was just so blown away with it. I loved Elena and Dante so much. And so if you haven't picked this one up, I would highly recommend you pick it up. I'm so annoyed that I had this on my TBR for years and I hadn't read it. It'd been sitting on my shelf for a year too. So definitely a great choice. And then we have Jess's pick, which is one I might reread because I just recently bought the audiobook for this. And that is God of Fury by Rena Kent. And this is my favorite romance, my favorite Rena Kent romance. Now, this has ties to the mafia because Nico is like actually part of the Bratva. His father is, his parents are part of the Bratva, and he will be moving up, and they kind of have almost like a mafia type of style going on at the school that they're at, him and his friends. This is an This is very emotional. There are some dark emotional elements to this. I love this book. It's one of my favorites. So obviously this could hit that LGBTQIA. This will hit that prompt for you. I don't know. I'm trying to think. It could have kind of rival families, although the other family in this, Brandon's family, is not in the mafia, but their like families are kind of against each other. So I'm not really for sure if that would fully cover that. But let me look at the bingo board real quick. So there's not a lot on here that is in the bingo board, but it's definitely like one of my favorite picks. So definitely check it out. Okay, and then we have Darkest Sins, which is the only book I don't have, which I really need to get this book by Neva Atai. And this is Jenn's pick. And this pick hits a lot because it has an assassin. I think this is the 9th book in the Imperfectly Imperfect series. It's the has an assassin. It has a female boss, capo, because the heroine in this ends up having to like take over for a bit and be the capo, or Donna. I think it has Second Chance. It could go into that. Again, I think I already said assassin. I believe it has age gap. Basically that whole series has some type of disability rep in it. So, that book is going to give you a lot of options, a lot of prompts that you're going to hit with that. So those are the 5 books that are our picks that I think if you at least pick 1 or 2 of those, you're going to hit a lot of prompts, get a lot of extra points. Now, for the bingo board, I'm only going to go over some options here. So on the bingo board, we have follow the host. So that's easy. Just make sure you're subscribing to all our YouTube channels. Follow us on Instagram so you can get all of our updated content and be posting to us on there. A new to you author. I always try to pick a new author every year that I do the readathon because there is so much mafia romance out there. And sometimes you get stuck into series that you love and you just stick with those authors. So definitely give a new author a chance. If you haven't read any of the authors that were from our picks, that's a great opportunity for you. Obviously an audiobook, that's pretty easy. Just listen to an audiobook. Cosa Nostra. So these are different, like, so Cosa Nostra is more like the Sicilian mafia. That's specifically Sicilian. One that you could do for Cosa Nostra, obviously, is Nikki Harris's whole series, The Butcher Brothers, and that's the Kids of the District. It is set in Australia, but they are actually part of the Cosa Nostra. So this is our thing in Cosa Nostra. That would hit it. You could read any of the other ones too, and that would be hitting the, I'll put that back later. That would be hitting the Cosa Nostra one. There's a lot of Cosa Nostra. You could probably find a ton. Captor Captive. I am not going to go into all my recs here. I have done a Captor Captive romance rec video before, but that was a generalized Captor Captive. So I plan to be filming a Mafia Captor Captive video soon. I want to get that one up so I can give you guys some more specific recommendations. So I'm not going to go into those here. The Italian Mafia is one of the most popular. I think it's super easy. You could find so many Italian Mafia. Honestly, like the whole Cora Riley, like the Bound by Honor, Bound by Hatred, all of those are Italian Mafia. It's just very easy. You can definitely find Italian Mafia easily. So that's a good one to check off. Single Parent, I honestly hadn't really had a ton of those that I looked up. But I started looking up a bunch of my Single Parent Mafia. So I'm going to try and do a video for that too. And then share your TBR. Basically, just make sure we have, like, Jenn has the graphics available. These will be available on my Instagram, Jenn's Instagram, all of that. So you can basically do the TBR graphic and create your TBR, share it on Instagram, and then just tag us. And then that'll hit that prompt for you. And then next in a series, this is very easy. I am always in the middle of series. So just hit the next book in a series that you're reading and it'll hit that prompt. Age gap, I'm not specifically doing age gap video because so many of the Mafia romances are age gap. It's just typically how it is. So I think that'll be pretty easy to get. Irish Mafia. I actually need to do Irish Mafia video, so maybe I'll do one of those too. But there is a ton. I love the Serena Ackroyd series, the 5 Points Mafia. That's Irish. I'm in the middle. Like, I know Lillian Harris, her most recent one is all Irish. So there's a ton of Irish Mafia for you. If you do continue on in the JT Geisinger Carnal Urges, that is another Irish Mafia and one of people's favorites in that series. So you could do that one. So I may come out with another video with some Irish Mafia recommendations for you. And then we have Hero is a Boss. Again, like I was saying for the Helen's pick, Ruthless Creatures, he's the boss. Nino Falcone is not really the top boss, really Ramo is, so I don't think that could fully count for that. But so many of the recs that or books that you're going to pick up, if the hero is the capo or the boss, that would hit that recommendation or that prompt for you. Then we have Bratva, which is basically just Russian mafia. If you read the God of Fury, he's tied to the Bratva, so that's an easy one. I also need to do one of those videos. I have so many mafia videos I need to create. So I don't know if I'll get all these done, but I do need to get them up for you. Okay, so any rec from a host. So again, watch any of our videos. I know Helen has like this Mafia Monday that she does. Jenn has specific like playlists of all Mafia recommendations. I know Jess reads a lot too. So like all the hosts are going to have some type of good Mafia recommendation for you to pick from there. Red on the cover. Again, so many Mafia romances have red on the cover. So just look out for that. And again, mine, Twisted Emotions, does have red on the cover. And then we have Arranged Marriage, which is super easy with Mafia. I might do a video on that one too, because I have a ton of recommendations. So again, mine is an arranged marriage. So that one can hit for the arranged marriage. So there's so many options that you can do for you know, arranged marriage. But I will try to get some more recommendation videos out. I'm thinking, well, let me go to my list because I was creating a list here. So for sure, I think I'm going to be doing a captor captive one, single parent video, an arranged marriage. Those are like the main ones I'm going to do. Oh, an assassin. Like I have a bunch of assassin mafia ones that I can, so those are kind of like the main videos I'm hoping to film here. I don't know if I'll get them all done before May, but I'm going to try and get as many as I can to you in that time. So I did have some options. So for Ruthless or Vicious in the title, again, Ruthless Creatures, which was Helen's pick, would do that. There's also Ruthless Stranger by Maggie Cole, which is one of my favorites. It's tied with the mafia and like a one night stand. It's an older couple. I really like that. It's one of my favorites. And then Ruthless King. I believe that one was also a recommendation I have for Cartel. I read that last year for the Mafia Readathon because I needed a Cartel one. And I got the audiobook on Audible. It was really, really good. Very well done. And that one was like a cartel single dad kind of nanny situation, I believe. And then we have Vicious Hearts, which is Jagger Coles. And that one is like, can hit a lot with like assassin, BDSM, age gap. I mean, it hits everything. And I think it has red on the cover too. Honestly, if you need BDSM, check out Jagger Cole. Pretty much all his romances, his mafia romances, are going to have some type of BDSM in it. And then for Yakuza, I haven't read a ton of Yakuza. The only Yakuza I've really read is Jagger Cole's Memento Mori series. And I really loved it. I think it's 4 books. It might be 5. I can't remember. But if you are looking for a Yakuza, I highly recommend that series. It is really good. The first one is Emperor of Wrath, and I loved that series. And it was really fun to finally read some Yakuza Mafia. The other cartel option, sorry, I'm all over the place with these recs. Sorry, guys. The other cartel option, I haven't read a ton of cartel. So the only other one I could really think of was Disclaim. And that is part of Pam Godwin's sex trafficking series. So it's very, very dark, but that does feature the cartel in it. So that's an option for you. But again, I think that's like book 3, I believe, in that series. So you might not want to jump right into the 3rd book on that. And then Woman on the Run, I just have a few options that I was thinking of was Brutal Savage by Lillian Harris. And then When She Unravels, was a really good one by Gabrielle Sands, where she actually runs from her abusive psycho mafia husband and goes to Ibiza. And it was so amazing. It's the first book in the series too. So I think it's a good option. And I loved it. I loved it. And then there is, obviously Run, Posey, Run is a really fantastic one. Posey has kind of been the girlfriend to a mafia man, and he basically thinks that she cheated on him, gets sent a video, and he basically kicks her to the curb, like, I'll kill you if I see you again. And so she runs. And he quickly realizes it was a setup and wants her back, but she's done being treated like his side piece and like not given the attention she deserves. So he's coming after her. So those are just a few options of Woman on the Run. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place with these recs. I just wanted to be able to give you some options with these prompts. But just know that I am going to be coming with some more recommendation videos in the coming weeks, so that it will give you some more options. And then make sure to check out the other host videos, because I know Helen and Jenn for sure have like a ton of mafia videos that you could get those specific recs from. So I am so excited that I am part of this readathon. Sorry that this announcement video is kind of chaotic. Like I said, I'm all over the place with how I'm explaining this. But you should go to Jenn's channel because she explains it so much better than me. But just know that last year it was so fun. I loved doing the bingo board, but also with those extra points, it just added so much more fun to it. And then Jenn actually added a new graphic where you can show the book that you read and kind of mark off each point per book that you did, and that's really cool. So that's an easier way for you to track what points you were getting for each book. So just make sure you check out Jenn's video, check out all the other host channels, make sure you're subscribing to everybody, and then get those graphics. And I really hope you join us for the Mafia Readathon. It is so much fun. Again, this is how I found my love for Mafia. And I'm so appreciative to Jenn to include me in this year. So thank you so much for watching this. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave me a like, comment down below. Let me know if you're going to be joining. If you have any recommendations for me, let me know. Leave it down in the comments. I'm always happy to hear from you. Anyways, thank you so much, and I will see you guys on the next one.